5. To actually have so many, this is really too great. After Brother Jiu's tribulation, there will definitely be some left over. The Nirvana elixir is extremely precious. If there are any leftovers, even if sold, they would fetch a hefty sum of spirit stones, Yin Wanfei said, very excited at this moment. Lin Jing gave a slight smile. Indeed, after Youjiu's tribulation, there would be extra Nirvana elixirs remaining. After all, these are not the low-grade Nirvana elixirs that Yin Wanfei imagined. They were supreme-grade and even superior-grade Nirvana elixirs. How could they be the same as the low-grade Nirvana elixirs? Nevertheless, it was still necessary to inform Yin Wanfei, or it would truly be a bit unjustifiable. Thus, Lin Jing opened his mouth and said, "That, Brother Yin, perhaps you should calm down first?" Hearing Lin Jing speak like this, Yin Wanfei looked at him puzzled, not understanding why Lin Jing would say such a thing. "Brother Lin, could it be there's something you haven't told me? Speak, I'm all ears." Lin Jing, thereafter, handed over another small jade vial. "How about you take a look at the elixir medicine in this little vial first?" Yin Wanfei took the jade vial, glancing doubtfully at Lin Jing. He just saw Lin Jing, with a smile on his face, watching him. Subsequently, Yin Wanfei then opened the vial. Upon opening the vial, a fragrance richer than before entered his nostrils. Yin Wanfei took a deep breath, his face full of intoxication. He then picked up the small jade vial, peering straight into it. Inside the jade vial, 2 dark purple elixir medicines lay at the bottom. The pills' appearances were round and glossy, and a faint brilliance was shimmering through their cores. After a short while, Yin Wanfei looked up at Lin Jing, his eyes filled with immense excitement. Superior grade Nirvana elixirs. Brother Lin, you've actually refined superior grade Nirvana elixirs. At this moment, Yin Wanfei was somewhat inarticulate. Lin Jing nodded his head and then, smiling, handed over the last jade vial he held in his hand. "And this one, take a look at this one too. And please, try not to get too excited. I'm afraid you might let out a yell, making it known to everyone. After all, this matter should be kept a secret." Yin Wanfei nodded repeatedly. "I certainly understand this. Brother Jiu already mentioned before that this matter must remain confidential." As he spoke, Yin Wanfei took the last small jade vial from Lin Jing's hand. Barely having received the jade vial, Yin Wanfei immediately opened it, and purple brilliance gleamed through the opening, revealing a hint of light. Upon witnessing this, Yin Wanfei was stunned, then quickly covered the mouth of the vial again. While Lin Jing was unsure of what was happening, he saw Yin Wanfei quietly open the bottle once more. The purple brilliance appeared again from the opening. Yin Wanfei, impatient, hurriedly peered inside the vial. This time, Yin Wanfei's observation mode lasted longer. It was only much later that Yin Wanfei finally looked up. Then, his gaze toward Lin Jing was as if looking at a monster. Following that, he looked again at the jade vial, observed for a while longer, then looked up again, back at Lin Jing. Only then did Yin Wanfei speak. "Brother Lin, were you toying with us before? You must be a 5th rank. No, a 6th rank alchemy master, right? 1 furnace with 5 Nirvana elixirs, 2 supreme grade, 2 superior grade, and 1 medium grade. How could that possibly be the work of a 4th grade alchemist who has never refined 4th order pills? To mention luck, that's even more impossible. Even if luck was good, refining 1 supreme grade Nirvana elixir would be like smoke billowing from the ancestral grave. If this is also considered luck, smoke from the ancestral grave isn't enough. It's more like the grave being on fire. An all-encompassing blaze, impossible to extinguish. Lin Jing could only facepalm. His own pill refinement in Yin Wanfei's mouth had apparently led to the ancestral grave catching fire. Lin Jing, with a darkened expression, said, "Brother Yin, you're being a bit too extravagant with your words." Yin Wanfei kept shaking his head, saying, "No exaggeration. I'm not exaggerating at all. You should know that even the alchemists at Changyun Pill Pavilion wouldn't dare to claim they could produce elixirs of such quality. You have left me, brother, nothing but admiration, complete admiration. Just as the two were talking at that moment, a voice came over. Nyo-san, what are you admiring again? This voice was none other than Lu Youjiu's. As the sound fell, Lu Youjiu and Hala Three Rivers approached. Seeing Lu Youjiu's arrival, Yin Wanfei immediately said excitedly, Brother Jiu, San, you're back. Brother Lin has already finished refining the elixir. Elixir? After hesitating, Lu Youjiu reacted. Oh, you're talking about the Nirvana elixir, right? The Nirvana elixir has been refined. After speaking, Lu Youjiu and Hala Three Rivers both turned their gazes to Lin Jing. Lin Jing nodded and said, Yes, I had just finished refining it when I came down the mountain. I was actually coming to find you. Lu Youjiu nodded and then asked, The elixir, how is its quality? Let me see. It's right here with me, Yin Wanfei said, passing the several small jade vials he held in his hands. Afterward, with a mysterious expression, he winked at Lu Youjiu and said, Brother Jiu, don't be scared. Seeing Yin Wanfei's expression, even Hala Three Rivers became interested and took a small jade vial from Lu Youjiu's hand. He then opened it directly. The moment the jade vial was opened, a rich and intoxicating pill fragrance rushed to their nostrils along with a purple brilliance radiating from within. After being momentarily stunned, Hala Three Rivers hurriedly looked inside the vial. Even Lu Youjiu, neglecting the other two small jade vials in his hands, was drawn to the fragrance of the elixir medicine emanating from the one Hala Three Rivers held. They crowded together to peer inside. However, the vial was too small, and with their crowding, neither could see anything. Thus, Hala Three Rivers poured out one of the pills into his hand. This pill was exceptionally round with a surface that shimmered with a purple gleam, appearing extremely extraordinary. Supreme elixir. Upon seeing this pill, Hala Three Rivers blurted out. Lu Youjiu nodded in agreement. Indeed, it is a supreme-grade nirvana elixir. If I take this pill, I am confident that my breakthrough to nascent soul will be successful. Following that, Hala Three Rivers looked up at Lin Jing, his expression a mix of shock and inevitability. In any case, it was very strange. Brother Lin, did you refine this? Yin Wanfei then said with a smile. Of course, it must be Brother Lin who refined it. Where else would these pills come from? What do you think? Are you shocked? Cough, cough. Then, Yin Wanfei cleared his throat and solemnly said to Hala Three Rivers, Sanhe, stay calm. You must keep your cool. Look at Brother Jiu. He's much more composed than you. Indeed, Lu Youjiu, though somewhat excited upon seeing the pills, was indeed calmer than both of them. Ignoring Yin Wanfei's smugness, Hala Three Rivers took the other two small jade vials from Lu Youjiu's hand. He proceeded to open them one by one. The more he opened, the more shocked Hala Three Rivers became. For the quality of this batch of elixir furnace medicine had scared him. Seeing Hala Three Rivers' actions, Yin Wanfei now laughed even more happily. How about it, San? One furnace of elixirs yielded 2 supreme grade, 2 superior, and 1 medium grade. Have you ever seen such a thing? You must know, these are not ordinary elixirs, but 4th-order nirvana elixirs, which are the most difficult to refine. Are you convinced or not? After examining the pills, Hala Three Rivers also didn't pay attention to Yin Wanfei, who kept bragging beside him. Instead, he looked up at Lin Jing with a serious face and asked, Your last name is Lin? That Lin from the Lin family. Obviously, Hala Three Rivers had noticed something. The words of Hala Three Rivers made Yin Wanfei somewhat confused. Brother Lin's last name is Lin, isn't it? What else could it be? Lin Jing also nodded, saying, Yes. Upon receiving Lin Jing's confirmation, Hala Three Rivers finally relaxed and smiled. No wonder. That makes it easier to explain. However, even so, the elixir furnace medicine you've refined is impressive. Lin Jing humbly replied. Brother Sanhe is too kind. It was just a bit of luck. Hala Three Rivers had more to say, but then turned his attention to Youjiu, who was standing nearby. Seeing Youjiu's nonchalant reaction to their conversation and acting as if everything was expected, Hala Three Rivers instantly understood, then turned to Youjiu. "Did you already know about this?" Youjiu gave a mysterious smile and said, "Somewhat, at least earlier than you all." Hala Three Rivers was momentarily speechless. "You didn't even tell Nyo-san, and you didn't bother telling me either." Yin Wanfei, completely out of the loop, was growing desperate. "What are you talking about? I don't understand a single word. How come I can't understand anything?" It was only then that Hala Three Rivers turned to Yin Wanfei and said, "I remember, you were quite smug just a moment ago, weren't you?" No sooner had Hala Three Rivers spoken than Yin Wanfei inwardly dreaded. "Sanhe, I was wrong. Just tell me." After saying this, Yin Wanfei even turned to seek help from Youjiu. Brother Jiu. However, Youjiu did not give in the time of day, but looked directly at Hala Three Rivers. "Ask Sanhe." Seemingly finding pleasure in the revenge, Hala Three Rivers sneered and said, "Maybe when I'm in a good mood someday." "Ah." Yin Wanfei immediately looked crestfallen. At that moment, Youjiu spoke up, reminding, "Sanhe, this matter is of great importance. Remember to keep it a secret." Hala Three Rivers nodded and responded, "Don't worry, I understand the gravity." After saying this, Hala Three Rivers looked at Lin Jing again and said, "Brother Lin, you should change the place where you refine your elixirs. In a little while, pick a place, and I will come and set up a new formation for you." Lin Jing nodded, not refusing. Indeed, Lin Jing had been thinking about changing the place where he practiced alchemy. After the Nirvana elixir had been refined, Lin Jing had clearly become much more leisurely than before. However, Hala Three Rivers had started to become busy. The site for Tribulation had already been chosen the last time they went out. Next, Hala Three Rivers needed to set up the formation and then prepare for the Tribulation. In the meantime, he also had to set up a large formation with various functions in Lin Jing's new alchemy room. It could be said that among them, he was the busiest. Meanwhile, Youjiu was undergoing his final meditation. Only after this meditation would he be ready to attempt the Tribulation. That day, with nothing much to do, Lin Jing left the alchemy room and went down the mountain for a stroll. He happened to see Yin Wanfei and Zhang Jian, who was with Yin Wanfei. Upon seeing Lin Jing, Zhang Jian hurriedly approached him. "Brother Lin, you seem quite free today," he said. Lin Jing responded with a slight smile. "Brother Zhang, I heard from Brother Yin that you're about to advance to a 4th rank array master, which is truly a joyous occasion." However, Zhang Jian waved his hand and said, "Not at all. Brother Lin is too kind. You are formidable with extraordinary combat abilities, and you're also a 4th grade pill master." At that moment, Yin Wanfei suddenly interjected, "All right, you two, stop praising each other. I can barely stand it. Zhang, weren't you going to ask Brother Lin about something concerning spirit plants? Stop rambling. Just ask now." Upon hearing this, Zhang Jian, with a dark face, turned to Yin Wanfei and said, "Yin Shui, can you not call me Cheap Zhang?" However, Yin Wanfei shook his head like a rattle drum and then spoke up, "I can't do that. Who asked you to be so persistent and annoying back then?" Zhang Jian quickly retorted, "How was I supposed to know you were pretending to be Yin Shui? If I had known it was you in disguise, I would never have approached you." At this, he sighed heavily. My pupil skill has really gone to the dogs. To think it added such a huge blemish to my life out of thin air." Yin Wanfei did not mince words. "You're blathering. Do you think I wanted to? It was all for the mission. And what about your pupil skill? Did you really think it would be able to see through the innate divine skills of our green illusion demon Ox clan? You underestimated our clan too much." Zhang Jian, almost tearful, lamented, "My innocence. To think I hesitated for days over a big male ox, and to say this out loud. Forget it, I can't speak of it." Yin Wanfei looked disdainfully at Zhang Jian. "If you want to blame someone, blame Dai Mao for his tastes." At this point, Yin Wanfei suddenly paused, then shifted the conversation. Speaking of Dai Mao, I just remembered, last time I asked you to secretly investigate Dai Mao's whereabouts for us. How did that go? Since the heavenly desired demon monarch had left with Dai Mao's body, Yin Wanfei had Zhang Jian help in tracking Dai Mao's movements as well. When Dai Mao was mentioned, Zhang Jian got serious. You wouldn't believe it, but recently, a friend of mine reported seeing Dai Mao's whereabouts. Just 2 months ago, my friend discovered a small island in the west of Thousand Islands domain that was annihilated, and everyone on the island had been drained of their essence and died. My friend, who was merely passing by and witnessed this scene, sensed danger and decided to leave. Unexpectedly, he was ambushed by someone with a sky-high demonic chi. At first, he tried to resist, but quickly realized he was no match. Eventually, he had no choice but to detonate his magical treasure to find a chance to escape. However, during the explosion of his magical treasure, by chance, he saw the face of his assailant. It was Dai Mao. According to his recollection, Dai Mao seemed seriously injured at the time, which is probably why he didn't pursue him. Otherwise, my friend would have never escaped. These are all things my friend told me himself. After hearing this, Yin Wanfei began to query. Dai Mao was injured? How could he have been injured? Zhang Jian gave him a look. How should I know? It's abnormal for Dai Mao to be injured. Maybe he was still recovering from the beating you guys gave him initially. The question of Yin Wanfei was also Lin Jing's query, because they hadn't told Zhang Jian that Dai Mao was actually the heavenly desired demon monarch. So, what seemed perfectly normal to Zhang Jian appeared abnormal instead. What kind of person is the heavenly desired demon monarch? Even if his recovery is slow, he should have mostly recovered by now. How could he still suffer such severe injuries up to now? Unless he met other nascent soul cultivators and got seriously injured again in the fight. Otherwise, there's just no explanation. Zhang Jian then said, if you want to deal with Dai Mao, I think it's best to take advantage now, while he's severely injured. Otherwise, once he recovers from his injuries, it will be troublesome. Lin Jing and Yin Wanfei glanced at each other and then said, wait a moment. We need to prepare for a while, in case of any deceit. You know, Dai Mao is a demon cultivator, always full of tricks. After hearing this, Zhang Jian nodded. Brother Lin is right. Then, Lin Jing asked Zhang Jian again. Right, Brother Yin mentioned earlier that you wanted to ask me about spirit plants. What did you want to know? At this mention, Zhang Jian immediately brightened up and hurriedly said, when I came here before, I saw that the spirit plants in the spirit field on this island are growing so well. How did you do it? Honestly, I have a spirit field on Xianyu Island too, but the growth of the spirit plants there is somewhat hard to describe. Lin Jing then said with a smile, of course, spirit plants need careful maintenance to grow well. You're always running around every few days, and if you don't have time to take care of the spirit plants in your own spirit field, how can they grow well? However, Zhang Jian shook his head and then said, that's not it, Brother Lin. If I'm not wrong, there should be someone on this island who is proficient in cultivating spirit plants, right? Although Zhang Jian had visited Liyan Island many times, Youjiu was almost always either cultivating or taking care of the spirit plants. She hardly ever stayed long in Liyan City. So naturally, Zhang Jian didn't know Youjiu. Zhang Jian continued, previously, I visited one of the 3 major islands, Yutian Island, and there was a cultivator proficient in spirit plants cultivation who also spent his days wandering about in search of rare spirit plants. But the spirit plants in his field were growing even better than yours here. Hearing about Yutian Island, Lin Jing suddenly remembered something. So he asked Zhang Jian, you been to Yutian Island? Zhang Jian nodded and said, yes, Yutian Island is an open island, just like Beihai City, accessible to everyone. How strong is Yutian Island? Lin Jing then asked. You came to develop in the Thousand Islands domain without understanding the local forces beforehand. Zhang Jian wondered. Yin Wanfei then said, actually, we haven't. We ended up on this Liyan Island by accident. So please tell us. Seeing that Lin Jing and Yin Wanfei really didn't understand the power distribution of the Thousand Islands domain, Zhang Jian started explaining. The Thousand Islands domain contains 3 major islands, each of them almost equivalent to a small piece of land. The strength of these 3 islands is also the most formidable. Each island has a divine transformation cultivator station on it, and the Youjiu Island I just mentioned is one of these 3 major islands. You just said that Youjiu Island is an open island. Does that mean anyone is allowed on the island? Yin Wanfei asked at this point. Zhang Jian nodded and said, right. The domain has many islands, and some people, after taking possession, do not welcome others and directly close off the island, restricting others from entering. While other islands are different, some cultivators, after taking over an island, do not isolate it but instead invite other cultivators to live together, collaborating to protect the island. That's what constitutes an open island. Originally, Youjiu Island was also a private island, but after it was taken over by the former island master Li Mingwu, he turned Youjiu Island into an open island. Li Mingwu. Lin Jing suddenly thought of Lin Jing, true monarch's last words. He then asked Zhang Jian, this Li Mingwu you mentioned, is he also a divine transformation stage cultivator? Zhang Jian nodded and said, of course. As the island master of Youjiu Island, one must possess the power of the divine transformation stage to hold authority. Moreover, it is said that Li Mingwu is very kind-hearted, often helping the cultivators on the island, and every time there's a crisis on the island, he is always the first to rush to the front, earning much praise from many people. It's just unfortunate that hundreds of years ago, Li Mingwu disappeared, and by now, he has probably long passed away. Dead? Lin Jing looked surprised. Most likely, Zhang Jian nodded. You see, he was already famous 2,000 years ago, and passing so much time now, without advancing beyond the spirit transformation, he couldn't sustain his lifespan. It was said that for this reason, he spent his last time searching for a breakthrough opportunity. Up till now, hundreds of years have passed, and still, there has been no news of him, so there's only one outcome. Furthermore, even with the cultivation of the divine transformation stage, not breaking through to above the spirit transformation, 2,000 years are too much for his lifespan. I see, Lin Jing nodded. Indeed, Lin Jing true monarch was a figure from 2,000 years ago, and Li Mingwu being from the same era. Even if he had ascended to the divine transformation stage, his lifespan would still be just over 2,000 years. Not breaking through to the next rank would only lead to the depletion of his lifespan. In this case, his death seems quite normal. All right, bitch Zhang. You kept mentioning above the divinity transformation. What exactly is that realm? At this moment, Yin Wanfei looked interested as he asked Zhang Jian. Zhang Jian, looking helpless, spread his hands and said, I'm not clear about that. The law is not to be passed on. It seems that this realm can only be known after reaching the divinity transformation stage. For us lower-ranked cultivators, we simply refer to it as above the divinity transformation. Yin Wanfei pursed his lips and said, I thought you would know. What a waste of my expressions. Zhang Jian directly glared at him and said, What do you think I am, a know-it-all? Yet, Yin Wanfei, still not giving up, continued to question Zhang Jian. Then, in the southern outer seas, are there any existences above the divinity transformation? Zhang Jian frowned, thought for a moment, and said, This, I have indeed heard some things. It is said that the Lord of Beihai City is an existence above the divinity transformation. Other than that, I'm not clear. As for the Thousand Islands domain, I have never heard of anyone with a cultivation above the divinity transformation. Even if there were, if they do not wish to reveal themselves, we wouldn't know. Yin Wanfei muttered. That's true. After Yin Wanfei finished speaking, Zhang Jian continued to address the two of them. I find that you are too unfamiliar with the entire Thousand Islands domain. Thus, when I return, I'll find some relevant books or materials for you to read. Don't accidentally provoke those formidable individuals and bring unnecessary disaster upon yourselves. In the Thousand Islands domain, there are thousands of islands, and the minimum cultivation level of an island master is at the golden core stage. Do you know how many nascent soul cultivators there are here? Or how many divine transformation cultivators? So, it is best to keep a low profile. After listening, the two nodded their heads, and then Lin Jing bowed with his fists and said, "Then I'll trouble Brother Zhang." "Brother Lin is too polite," Zhang Jian replied. "All right, Brother Zhang. If you're interested in cultivating spirit plants, there's indeed someone on our island who is proficient in cultivating spirit plants, and she also has a family spell specifically for taking care of spirit plants. Brother Zhang, if you wish to learn, you'll have to find her yourself. Although we now occupy this island, we can't force her to do anything." After hearing this, Zhang Jian nodded. "I understand. After all, there are many original islanders on each island, and cultivators, even if occupying an island, will coexist peacefully with them." After speaking, Zhang Jian continued, "Since it is a family cultivation technique, I will think about it. If not, I might pay a price to see if I can get her to print a copy for me." "That should be no problem," Lin Jing added. Afterwards, the group conversed for a while, and then Lin Jing took Zhang Jian to find Yu Qinyang to exchange cultivation techniques. In the blink of an eye, another half a year had passed. Youjiu had finally accumulated enough and came out of seclusion. As soon as Youjiu emerged from seclusion, he met Lin Jing and the others. At this time, Hala Three Rivers stepped forward, pulled out a storage bag, and handed it to Youjiu, saying, "This is prepared for you, Tribulation Crossing magical treasure, and the Tribulation elixir medicine that Brother Lin prepared for you. All are here. The location for crossing the Tribulation that we previously found is also ready. We can head there now." Youjiu nodded and said, "Good, let's set off now." After speaking, the group boarded the flying boat and flew towards the previously found location for crossing the Tribulation. Riding the flying boat after several days of continuous flight, Lin Jing and the others finally arrived at the small island prepared for crossing the Tribulation. This place, being quite far from the Thousand Islands domain and surrounded by a region where spiritual energy is quite sparse, rarely saw other cultivators visit. Thus, there would be no disturbances. However, as a location for crossing the Tribulation, it was perfectly suitable. Upon arriving on the island, they immediately descended. Just in the center of the island, a huge formation had been leveled and dominated the area. This formation, set up by Hala Three Rivers, was to assist Youjiu in his tribulation. After landing on the island, Hala Three Rivers proceeded to check the formation and, seeing no anomalies, indicated to Youjiu that he could begin. Youjiu nodded, then settled himself cross-legged in the middle of the formation. Then, Hala Three Rivers turned back to Lin Jing and Yin Wanfei and said, "Brother Lin, Neo, San, each of you guard a direction. Be careful not to let any other cultivators or demonic beasts come and disturb us." Lin Jing nodded and said, "No problem." Yin Wanfei agreed as well. "Don't worry, Sanhe." Having said that, the two split apart, one to the south and the other to the north, leaving the island. The island was not large, covering only a few square kilometers, and the tribulation Youjiu had to cross was the nascent soul heavenly tribulation. The range of the nascent soul heavenly tribulation was not small, so to avoid being detected by the heavenly tribulation, it was necessary to stay far from the island. Only when they felt their positions were roughly right did the two stop. Meanwhile, Hala Three Rivers set up the final array encircling the entire island on the island. This large array was not for aiding and resisting the heavenly tribulation, but the main purpose was for protection in case of accidents. Several hours passed, and the island surrounding large array had been set up, and Hala Three Rivers also left the island. At this moment, in the middle of the island, only Youjiu remained, meditating. Time elapsed, and quickly 2 days passed. By now, Youjiu had elevated his cultivation to its optimal state. However, he suddenly opened his eyes, then took out a small jade vial from his storage bag and poured out a nirvana elixir from it. He then tossed it directly into his mouth and continued to meditate. This scene was naturally seen by Lin Jing and the others. Therefore, they retreated further back, waiting for the arrival of the heavenly tribulation. Finally, after a few more hours, Lin Jing and the others began to sense an unusual aura. The atmosphere in the sky seemed to start becoming oppressive. The originally calm sea surface also began to stir up waves at this time. In the sky, dark clouds started to converge above the island, forming a layer of black curtain. As time slowly passed, the dark clouds in the sky also became thicker. Even the atmosphere between heaven and earth grew increasingly heavy with the gathering of the tribulation clouds. Until an hour had passed, the tribulation lightning had still not descended. However, by now, the tribulation clouds had completely enveloped the entire island. Inside those clouds, the sound of rumbling thunder continued, along with various lightning continuously within the clouds, as the dark tribulation clouds kept rolling. By this time, Youjiu had already stopped meditating, stood up, tilted his head back, and stared directly at the tribulation lightning above. Even his cold light longsword was already in his hands. Clearly, Youjiu was ready, just waiting for the tribulation lightning to fall. Finally, after waiting for quite a while more, boom! A loud thunderclap came, and the first wave of tribulation lightning struck directly towards the center of the island, where Youjiu was. At this moment, Lin Jing, watching this scene from afar on the sea surface, was also deeply shaken by this wave of tribulation lightning. This being just the first wave of tribulation lightning, it was already terrifying. Even from a distance, Lin Jing could distinctly feel the destructive aura of the tribulation lightning. Moreover, this wave of tribulation lightning was thicker than any he had seen before, including those he experienced during his own tribulation. A breath later, the tribulation lightning dissipated, and Lin Jing saw everything on the island again. This wave of tribulation lightning was indeed not small. The first strike alone destroyed a large area of the island's mountains and trees. It had flattened a whole large area. However, situated at the center of the formation, Youjiu seemed normal, showing no signs of abnormality. Suddenly, the second wave of tribulation lightning followed. The dazzling lightning engulfed Youjiu once again. At this moment, Lin Jing saw that the formation set up by Hala Three Rivers was frantically operating, diverting the power of the heavenly tribulation elsewhere. As for those powers that could not be diverted, they were directly absorbed by Youjiu himself. Only now did Lin Jing understand. No wonder the first wave of tribulation lightning caused such massive destruction to the island. It was because of the formation. The second wave of tribulation lightning also quickly dissipated. Located within the formation, Youjiu was still unharmed. After a period of brewing in the sky, the tribulation clouds began to stir again, followed by the third wave, the fourth wave, the fifth wave. Several consecutive waves of tribulation lightning struck down. The formation set up by Hala Three Rivers ultimately could not withstand it, and with a loud bang, it burst open. At this time, the sixth wave of tribulation lightning had just ended. The entire island was already a site of devastation. Even the sole mountain on the island had been flattened by this terrifying tribulation lightning. Fortunately, this was originally an uninhabited island. Otherwise, no one would have escaped. At this time, the defensive formation had shattered. The subsequent last three waves of tribulation lightning were now up to Youjiu himself. However, fortunately, from the beginning to now, Youjiu's consumption had not been very great, so the upcoming waves of tribulation lightning should not pose any problem. The final three waves of tribulation lightning always took a long time to brew. By now, Youjiu had already produced two defensive magical treasures and looked up at the skies, at the ceaselessly churning tribulation clouds. Crackle! In an instant, countless tribulation lightning converged into a beam 100 meters in diameter and struck directly down. This seventh wave of tribulation lightning, before its appearance, had not shown any signs whatsoever. From afar, Lin Jing, watching this robust column of thunder, felt somewhat terrified. Moreover, this seventh wave of tribulation lightning lasted particularly long. It lasted for 3 breaths. When a tribulation lightning dissipated, Lin Jing saw Youjiu in the center of the island, now injured and his spiritual power dimmed significantly. At this moment, Lin Jing saw Youjiu took out 2 pure jade boxes, then took out the elixir medicine inside them and swallowed it. After swallowing them, Youjiu immediately sat down cross-legged and began to meditate again. Because the upcoming last 2 waves of tribulation lightning were the most crucial and also the most challenging. He had to restore his condition to its best to face the upcoming 2 waves of tribulation lightning in a more perfect state. Moreover, this challenge could only depend on him alone. No one else could help him. The 8th thunderbolt of the tribulation took quite some time to brew. Above Youjiu's head, within the tribulation clouds, the sound of rumbling thunder was incessant, and countless dazzling lightning bolts tumbled within the clouds alongside the thunder. The oppression brought about by the entire tribulation cloud grew more and more terrifying. Clearly, the 8th thunderbolt of the tribulation was about to finish brewing. It was at this moment that Youjiu suddenly opened his eyes and stood up, operating his magical treasure to protect his body. Following that, Youjiu took the gourd from his waist, opened the stopper, and directly gulped down a mouthful of wine. With this mouthful of wine, even though Lin Jing was far away, he could feel that the spiritual power in Youjiu's body surged tremendously in an instant. After that, Youjiu pointed his sword towards the sky and soared upwards. It was at that moment that the 8th thunderbolt fell. A massive column of thunderous light instantly engulfed Youjiu entirely. Lin Jing concentrated his spiritual power in his eyes just to barely make out what was happening inside. At this moment, Youjiu, whose injuries had almost healed, was once again wounded by the 8th thunderbolt, and the injuries were even more severe than before. The 2 protective magical treasures emitted a cyan light as they worked at full capacity to protect Youjiu. Very quickly, the protective magical treasures could no longer hold on. One of the treasures, which already had some cracks, could not withstand the devastation of the tribulation lightning anymore. With a bang, it shattered. In this way, it had fulfilled its mission. And the situation with the other magical treasure was not optimistic either. Finally, when the second magical treasure began to show extensive cracks and was about to shatter, the 8th thunderbolt had at last completed its course. Now, looking at Youjiu again, his body was covered in wounds. Even his usually clean white clothes were stained red with blood. In some places, they had stuck to the flesh, exposed by his injuries. At first glance, it was hard to distinguish between clothes and flesh. Youjiu was gravely injured, and the island under his feet had also been reduced by more than 1 layer by the thunderbolt. The whole island had become incredibly flat. The fragmented rocks on the island melted under the bombardment of the thunderbolt, and then solidified into large clusters. These clusters of rocks melted and solidified by the thunderbolt could no longer be considered as mere rocks, but had turned into a kind of metal. Lin Jing thought that these metals could even be used for artifact refining materials. Though they wouldn't make magical treasures, they should be suitable for refining magic artifacts. After the 8th thunderbolt had passed, Youjiu once again took out 2 elixir medicines and consumed them. He needed to take advantage of every moment available to recover quickly and prepare for the final thunderbolt. Looking at Hala 3 Rivers and Yan Wanfei, their faces filled with worry as they watched Youjiu in the center of the island. Lin Jing, however, was paying attention to the churning tribulation clouds above Youjiu's head. With the continuous sounds of rumbling coming from within the clouds, the tribulation clouds above were still consolidating. By the looks of their preparation, this final thunderbolt could very well be several times more powerful than the 8th. However, just as Lin Jing was pondering this, suddenly, with a crack, the final thunderbolt unexpectedly fell. At this moment, Youjiu was still sitting in meditation below, and the suddenness of the thunderbolt's descent was so abrupt that the others didn't even have time to react. The thunderbolt engulfed Youjiu completely. The group was immediately shocked, as this final thunderbolt was too capricious and had come all too suddenly. Lin Jing then looked at Hala Three Rivers and Yin Wanfei. Hala Three Rivers had a grim expression, staring intently at the thick thunderbolt, and Yin Wanfei was wearing a look of extreme anxiety. But they both knew that no matter how anxious they were, they had to wait. The heavenly tribulation did not care who was undergoing the tribulation. Anyone rashly entering its range would cause the power of the heavenly tribulation to double instantly. Therefore, the two of them dared not act rashly at this time. The last thunderbolt lasted for a full 9 breaths' time. Once the thunderbolt dissipated, the three rushed to look towards the center of the island. They saw a deep crater thousands of meters wide at the center of the island. Around the edge of this crater were rocks that had been scorched red-hot, some of which had already melted by half. Looking down from above, Lin Jing saw Lu Youjiu, whose body was charred black, at the center of the crater. At that moment, Lu Youjiu was almost unrecognizable as human, but he was still sitting cross-legged in the pit. Lin Jing focused his gaze and could see that Lu Youjiu's blackened chest rose and fell slightly. Seeing this, Lin Jing let out a sigh of relief. It seemed that Lu Youjiu had succeeded in overcoming the tribulation. But at that time, the tribulation clouds in the sky above the island still lingered, so they did not dare to approach and could only watch from a distance. Only after some time did the tribulation clouds over the island gradually disperse, and the weather returned to being clear. Seeing that the tribulation clouds had completely scattered and that the oppressive and fearsome pressure of the heavens had vanished, Lin Jing and the others finally returned to the island. No sooner had they met than Yin Wanfei slapped his chest and said, "I was scared to death just now, especially by that last thunderbolt. It was so sudden. I thought we'd still have to wait a little longer for it to fall. But who knew it would come down so unexpectedly and without any signs?" It looked like Brother Jiu didn't even have time to react. Hala Three Rivers nodded, still shaken, and said, "Me too. That last thunderbolt was really too strange." Lin Jing also nodded in agreement. "Let's go check on Brother Jiu." Yin Wanfei followed up. So he nodded and said, "Keep it down later, don't disturb him. He just went through a tribulation, and now is a critical time." Yin Wanfei nodded repeatedly and said, "Don't worry, I know." Immediately after, the three of them walked together towards the center of the island. Upon reaching the middle, they stopped at the edge of the deep pit formed by the lightning strikes and did not disturb Lu Youjiu inside. After observing for a while and seeing that Lu Youjiu was not in any serious trouble and was still recovering, so he took out an array plate and placed a few spirit stones on it. The grand formation appeared instantly, enveloping Lu Youjiu at the bottom of the pit. Then, a surge of spiritual power began to flood towards the array plate. It turned out that this was a spirit gathering array. After setting up the spirit gathering array, Sandy then gestured to Lin Jing and Yin Wanfei to leave the area with him. Once out, they stayed on the island, waiting for Lu Youjiu to awaken. This wait lasted several days. It wasn't until a few days later that Lu Youjiu finally began to wake up gradually. The moment Lu Youjiu opened his eyes, an immense and terrifying divine sense pressure burst forth, appearing instantaneously. This pressure appeared only for a moment before vanishing. Afterwards, the group came back to the edge of the pit. By then, Lu Youjiu had already stood up. Then, with a smile on his face, he looked at them and said, "Nascent soul stage, I've succeeded." Yin Wanfei chuckled and said, "Ha. Congratulations, Brother Jiu, impressive as always." Lin Jing also spoke up at this point. "Congratulations, Brother Lu, on successfully advancing to the nascent soul stage." Then he smiled as he looked towards Lu Youjiu in the pit. Following that, Lu Youjiu waved his hand, and before everyone could react, he had already changed into a set of clean clothes, and they were white. Ever since Lin Jing had met him, he had always worn white. He had never worn clothes of any other color, as if Lu Youjiu had a special preference for this white attire. Then, with a flicker, he suddenly appeared in front of everyone. "Now that I have successfully reached the nascent soul stage, it's time for us to settle the score with that heavenly desired demon monarch. Only I'm not sure how much his cultivation has recovered by now. Do you have any news of him? After speaking, Youjiu looked towards Lin Jing and the others. Yin Wanfei then said, I know some. A few months ago, Zhang Jian told me a bit about the heavenly desire demon monarch. Moreover, it seems that not only has he not recovered, but his injuries have become even more severe. Yin Wanfei then relayed the information he received from Zhang Jian about Dai Mao to Lu Youjiu. After hearing this, Lu Youjiu furrowed his brows in deep thought for a moment. Then he said, It's been so long, and yet he hasn't even recovered from his injuries, which seems rather unlikely. Let's head back now and then try to find out more. After the investigation, we'll make preparations and set off to eliminate this threat. Okay, everyone responded. After returning to Li Yan Island, Lu Youjiu immediately began to investigate. Senhe too was making preparations. After all, this time, they planned to eradicate the heavenly desired demon monarch once and for all, and they couldn't allow him to escape. Therefore, the formations of Sanhe were crucial. Meanwhile, Lin Jing and Yin Wanfei were relatively free with less to do. A few days later, Lu Youjiu returned from Beihai City. He also brought back some intelligence on the heavenly desire demon monarch from the Seven Seas Hall. It must be said, the Seven Seas Hall was indeed powerful. Even their intelligence capabilities were unmatched. But this was to be expected. With so many pack cultivators at their disposal, obtaining intelligence was surely an easy task. One only had to issue a mission, and countless packed cultivators would help complete it. Moreover, the Seven Seas Hall also consciously collected various intelligence on their own. Even if someone had special information, they could submit it to the Seven Seas Hall, which would analyze and verify it. Once confirmed as accurate, they would reward the cultivator who provided the intelligence handsomely. However, such a model did not put the Seven Seas Hall at a loss, because there would always be those who needed such intelligence. Take Lu Youjiu, for instance. He had purchased the intelligence about Dai Mao's whereabouts through the Seven Seas Hall. He even posted a mission at the hall to learn a bit about the heavenly desired demon monarch's deeds. Upon Lu Youjiu's return, he immediately gathered everyone, and when they arrived, he shared the intelligence he'd gathered. This is the intelligence obtained from the Seven Seas Hall. Take a look. As he spoke, Lu Youjiu took out the intelligence he had acquired from the Seven Seas Hall. Upon seeing the intelligence, Lin Jing and the others immediately crowded around. In mid-May, Sanshin Island was destroyed, and all the cultivators on the island perished. The demon cultivator Dai Mao appeared near Sanshin Island, and the destruction of Sanshin Island is suspected to be related to him. At the beginning of June, Chiang Island was attacked by none other than Dai Mao. Several Golden Core cultivators joined forces, trying to take him down. They were no match, drained dry into mummies. In early July, Dai Mao encountered true Master Lin Jing, and after hundreds of exchanges, they parted. Dai Mao is suspected to cultivate the devouring human essence and blood demon skill, having successfully ascended to the nascent soul stage. Be extremely cautious upon sight. In late August, Dai Mao attacked Panqing Island, which led to its annihilation. Not a single member of the island's alchemy Dao noble family, the Pan family, survived. Their clan's treasured heirloom was lost. At the beginning of September, 5 Golden Core cultivators died mysteriously, as tracks of Dai Mao's recent presence were found nearby. October. All these incidents, one after another, were the doings of the heavenly desire demon monarch. Moreover, by this time, the heavenly desire demon monarch had already recovered to the nascent soul stage. Then, the group continued to read on. Lastly, there were records of the heavenly desire demon monarch's last known whereabouts. Dai Mao was last seen near the southwestern area of the Thousand Islands domain, close to the Linshi Triple Islands. After reading, the group raised their heads. Lu Youjiu then spoke, asking, Now that you've read it, what do you think? However, Yin Wanfei directly said, What's there to think about? Of course, it's to find him and then blow him to smithereens. Yin Wanfei's words were always so simple and straightforward. Yet the words that followed from Youjiu took the group by surprise. This time, I want to go alone. The rest of you should stay here. No need to take risks. Upon hearing this, Yin Wanfei immediately turned her head, looking at Youjiu with confusion before asking, "Why's that? Big bro Jiu, didn't we agree to go together?" Even Lin Jing and Hala Three Rivers were puzzled, not understanding why Youjiu would say this. After pondering for a moment, Hala Three Rivers furrowed his brows and said, "That heavenly desire demon monarch is so vicious, it's really not great for you to go alone. Besides, didn't I still need to help you set up the formation?" That's true for Brother Lin and Yo San. They don't necessarily need to go. Hearing this, Yin Wanfei immediately became dissatisfied. "Senhi, why can you go, but we can't?" "No way. I also want to contribute." Youjiu then spoke again. "Actually, I do have some considerations for not letting you all go. The heavenly desire demon monarch ascending to the nascent soul stage was within expectation, but it was only after my own ascension to the nascent soul stage that I realized just how vast the gap between the nascent soul and golden core stages truly is. Before, we were too confident, thinking that with just a few of us, we could truly take down a nascent soul cultivator. You've also read the report just now. So many golden core cultivators teamed up against the heavenly desire demon monarch and were all killed by him. If you all come with me, I'm afraid something unexpected might happen." Youjiu's words left the group in deep thought. After pondering for a while, Lin Jing looked directly at Youjiu and said, "Brother Liu, this time, I'm afraid we really have to go together." Youjiu then turned his head, looking at Lin Jing, waiting for his reasoning. Lin Jing continued, "We are going there to utterly defeat him, and if you go alone, it will be somewhat difficult to achieve that. Brother, San-he needs to set up the formation, and that goes without saying. And both Nyo-san and I can flank on the side. Even if we can't match him, we have the capability to hold him back. Moreover, we have to search for his hiding place this time. If you go by yourself, you'll have to look on your own. Perhaps he will wait for you to make a mistake and strike when you least expect it. But if we go together, we can help share that burden and then force him out. That way, Brother Liu, you'll be in a better condition to face the heavenly desire, demon monarch. With this plan, won't our chances of success be even greater?" After Lin Jing finished, Yin Wanfei quickly expressed her agreement. "Right, big bro Jiu. Brother Lin is right. If we're going to take him down, it's naturally better to do it together." Hala Three Rivers also nodded. "I've prepared 2 formations this time, which should play a significant role in the fight." Lin Jing continued, "There's also the most important point. If you face him alone and something goes awry, allowing him to escape, then the 3 of us staying here might be in more danger than if we were with you." Upon hearing this, Youjiu's expression darkened. Indeed, his original intent was not to expose the group to danger. Yet if that not only failed to keep them safe, but instead put them in greater danger, then it was entirely pointless. So, after a moment of silence, Youjiu said, "All right, then we'll go together." Upon the serene sea surface, a silver-white streak of light suddenly shot across at an extreme speed. After the light passed by, the demonic beast that originally lingered on the surface, startled, swiftly dived into the depths of the sea. That streak of light was the flying boat on which Lin Jing and his companions were embarked. Several days had elapsed since their last meeting and discussion. By now, Lin Jing and his companions had already reached the vicinity of the 3 western islands. Moreover, they had already made 2 complete circles around the area. At that moment, they were planning to head to a somewhat remote island to gather information. Because, not long before, they had learned that Dai Mao might still be in this sea area and had not left. Without any further discussion, they drove their flying boat there directly. Inside the flying boat, Youjiu was controlling the vessel, while Lin Jing and the other 2 sat in the cockpit, idly chatting. Yin Wanfei said, "Speaking of which, will the heavenly desire demon monarch really head to Nanli Island?" On Nanli Island, there are several golden core late stage and even golden core peak cultivators with formidable strength. If he goes there now, he shouldn't be able to gain much of an advantage, should he? However, Hala Three Rivers said at this time, from the intelligence we've gathered, Nanli Island should be the most suitable for him. Right now, he must be relying on devouring those golden core cultivators to restore his cultivation. Thus, we must find him before he fully recovers and kill him. Youjiu also spoke up to the others. Besides, he should be stronger now than before. All of you need to be extra cautious. Okay, the group nodded in agreement. Afterward, Youjiu observed the front, controlling the flying boat as they proceeded forward. Not much time passed, and about 4 hours later, they finally arrived at Nanli Island. Even before reaching the island, they could already sense the tragic aura and smell the blood that permeated the air. They then piloted the flying boat directly over Nanli Island. In the middle of Nanli Island, there was a city which at that moment lay silent as death. Lin Jing and his companions subsequently disembarked from the flying boat and descended into the city. Crimson bloodstains, contorted mummies, and even shattered corpses were everywhere to be seen. Walking along the streets of the city, Lin Jing saw mummified bodies desiccated of all fluids everywhere. These mummies looked ferocious, their bodies curled or contorted. Clearly, they had suffered immensely before their deaths. Most of these victims were ordinary people without any cultivation. It seemed that the heavenly desire demon monarch had used a wide-ranging spell to drain everyone in the entire city. Before this, when they read about such events and reports, it didn't seem quite real. But upon witnessing the horrific state of the city with their own eyes, Lin Jing was truly horrified by the stark reality. Beyond these mummified bodies, there were other corpses, or rather, fragments of bodies. These remains likely belonged to the cultivators who had resisted first, and the results of their resistance seemed far from favorable. Lin Jing swiftly moved through the alleys and streets, eventually rising to mid-air to survey the entire city. But alas, he found not a single survivor. Even sweeping with his divine sense, there was nothing but deadly silence everywhere. A moment later, Hala Three Rivers and Yin Wanfei approached Lin Jing. Everyone on the island is dead. I even saw a golden core cultivator who died explosively, Yin Wanfei said directly. Hala Three Rivers then said, these bloodstains haven't completely dried up. It seems the massacre didn't happen too long ago. If we pursue now, we should be able to catch up. Lin Jing nodded in agreement. Indeed. Let's go. We're heading back to the flying boat now. Having said that, the three made their way back to the flying boat. Once on the flying boat, Youjiu spoke. Have you completed your investigation? What's the situation? Not a single survivor, replied Hala Three Rivers. However, the slaughter seems to have happened not too long ago, possibly within the last couple of hours. If we pursue now, we should be able to catch up. Youjiu nodded and responded. Good. With that, they set off again, chasing toward the direction ahead. After searching for half an hour, they finally discovered traces of battle left behind in the seas to the south of Nanli Island. They continued to pilot the flying boat forward. Before long, they felt a rampant aura ahead. Within this aura was a powerful demonic qi suppressing several other breaths. The group exchanged glances, and then Youjiu directly steered the flying boat towards the ongoing battle. In no time, they arrived near the battlefield. Next, Youjiu retracted the flying boat and flew through the air directly towards the battlefield. Lin Jing and the other two followed closely behind on their flying swords. When they arrived at the battlefield, they caught sight of the fierce combat between the two sides. One of the parties was unmistakably in the likeness of Daimao, the heavenly desire demon monarch. The heavenly desire demon monarch was enveloped in a sky-covering demonic aura, shrouding the nearby area completely. Each of his attacks carried a vast amount of demonic qi, enhancing the power of his spells even further. Opposite him, three golden core late-stage cultivators were jointly resisting the heavenly desire demon monarch. However, these three were covered in wounds, and the aura of their cultivation fluctuated uncertainly. The situation seemed extremely dire. It appeared that they wouldn't last much longer before falling at this place. At this moment, the heavenly desire demon monarch was just about to gather demonic chi, aiming to take down the three individuals in one fell swoop. However, just at that time, Lin Jing and his group arrived. Charging at the forefront was naturally Youjiu, who had already reached the nascent soul stage. When the heavenly desire demon monarch saw the newcomers, he was stunned for a moment, and his attack slowed down a bit as a result. The three golden core late-stage cultivators, seeing this opportunity, quickly retreated a great distance. It wasn't until they saw the heavenly desire demon monarch that Lin Jing and the others realized he was indeed stronger than they had imagined. Over time, the heavenly desire demon monarch had become more powerful, and even his cultivation had recovered to the middle phase of the nascent soul stage. The heavenly desire demon monarch looked at the group, furrowed his brow, and spoke. "It's you few." Following that, he gazed at Youjiu at the very front. "I didn't expect you to have reached the nascent soul stage already. You actually dared to come here. Quite confident, aren't you?" After speaking, the heavenly desire demon monarch glanced at Lin Jing behind him, then let out a cold snort. "Oomph. You don't really think I'm scared of you, do you?" At this moment, the three golden core cultivators stepped forward and said to Youjiu, "Senior, be careful. This demon cultivator, Dai Mao, has cultivated some sort of demonic technique that is extremely difficult to deal with. He can even absorb people's essence and blood to replenish himself." Youjiu nodded and then indicated for the three of them to step back. Recognizing the cue, they promptly moved to the side and started to recover on their own. At this point in the arena, Youjiu and the heavenly desired demon monarch stood opposed to each other, while Lin Jing and the other two were ready to assist at any moment. At this moment, Youjiu made the first move. With the cold light longsword in hand, he swung out with a strike. A vast wave of white sword energy shot out, directly sweeping towards the heavenly desired demon monarch. Upon seeing this, the heavenly desired demon monarch also gathered a massive amount of demonic chi, forming a crescent-shaped, sword-like black demon chi that collided with Youjiu's sword energy. Boom! A loud explosion erupted as Youjiu's sword energy collided with the black demon chi, causing them to explode violently. The blast generated shockwaves that forced Lin Jing and the three golden core cultivators, as well as others, to involuntarily retreat a distance. Even Youjiu himself was forced 2 steps back. The heavenly desired demon monarch saw this and couldn't help but laugh. "Haha, just having entered the nascent soul stage and you dream of troubling me. You're far too naive." However, without uttering a word, Youjiu simply took a large gourd from his waist and gulped down a mouthful of liquor. In the next moment, Youjiu's aura surged, growing noticeably stronger. Seeing this, the heavenly desired demon monarch's brow furrowed, and he immediately gathered the black demonic chi around him and launched another attack at Youjiu. Youjiu positioned the cold light longsword in front of him and started to cast a spell with one hand, murmuring incantations. Soon, the cold light longsword began to divide. 1 into 2, 2 into 4, 4 into 8. Before long, numerous longswords densely filled up the nearby area. Right then, the black demonic chi reached him. Youjiu, unfazed, flicked his finger, and the flying swords moved in unison. The swords, radiating white light, completely blocked the black demonic chi from getting through. Then, Youjiu directly controlled the flying swords and launched them toward the heavenly desired demon monarch. As Youjiu charged forward, Lin Jing and his group also made their move. As previously agreed, Youjiu was responsible for the main assault. The other 3, Lin Jing included, each took a position in different directions. Their purpose was to prevent the heavenly desired demon monarch from escaping. Even Hala 3 Rivers had started preparing to scatter formation flags nearby to trap the heavenly desire demon monarch in place. Seeing the others taking action, the 3 injured golden core cultivators, at first wanting to caution them, fell silent upon spotting the formation flags in Hala 3 Rivers' hands and retreated a good distance away. At this point, although they weren't completely depleted, they were nearly spent, and remaining on the battlefield would provide no assistance. It was better to withdraw and heal. Once their strength was somewhat recovered, they could then offer help. At the center of the battlefield, the countless flying swords Youjiu wielded had firmly restrained the heavenly desire demon monarch. The battle between them was fiercely intense. However, with the black demonic chi obscuring the view, the situation inside was largely unclear to the others. All that could be seen was the swirling black demonic chi on the outside and the sweeping lights of the swords inside. Of course, there's also the explosive release of the terrifying cultivation auras from both individuals. Under this stirring influence, a slight misstep could lead to injury. Lin Jing and Yin Wan wanted to join in, but found themselves unable to intervene. After all, the battlefield was dominated by 2 nascent soul cultivators, well beyond their means to take part in. Meanwhile, Hala 3 Rivers continued to move around the edges of the battlefield, constantly planting formation flags in every corner of the arena. Very quickly, just as the formation was about to be completed, the heavenly desired demon monarch realized something was wrong. At this moment in the battlefield, most parts of the formation had been completed, needing only the last few formation flags to be inserted to finish the formation. The heavenly desired demon monarch, sensing the imminent completion of the formation, began attacking Youjiu with full force, attempting to push him back. Youjiu, naturally, would not allow him to succeed and also exerted all his strength, controlling his flying swords to continuously attack the heavenly desired demon monarch. Seeing that he couldn't break through, the heavenly desired demon monarch became anxious. All of a sudden, he retracted all the black demonic chi into his body and then bellowed, "Get lost!" Along with his roar, countless streams of black demonic chi gushed out, resembling sharp swords emerging from his body. These demonic chi swords were extremely formidable. Upon encountering the flying swords conjured by Youjiu, they directly shattered them and pierced through. In an instant, many flying swords were destroyed by these demonic chi swords. Even 2 of the swords pierced right through Youjiu's body, causing him severe injuries. Youjiu was forced to retreat temporarily to avoid their ferocity. Meanwhile, the demonic chi swords did not cease and kept flying far away. Fortunately, when these swords reached Lin Jing and his group, their speed had slowed down significantly, and the others were not injured. However, 2 nearby formation flags close to Lin Jing were not so lucky and were hit by the demonic chi swords. Although they did not shatter, some small cracks appeared. It should be known that the material of each formation flag was extraordinary, and their hardness was almost equivalent to that of magical treasures. Yet, even so, the formation flags still had cracks caused by the demonic chi swords that indicated just how powerful these swords were. Seeing Youjiu retreat, the heavenly desired demon monarch was about to attempt a breakout. However, at that moment, Hala 3 Rivers' final formation flag had been cast. Then Hala 3 Rivers spoke up, shouting, "Formation merge, activate." As the words of Hala 3 Rivers fell, countless white formation patterns lit up, connecting all the formation flags that had been laid out. The entire formation was formed, completely enveloping the area. It also directly covered both the heavenly desired demon monarch and Youjiu. Seeing this, the heavenly desired demon monarch regathered the black demonic chi, trying to break through the formation. But at this moment, Hala 3 Rivers made his move. Hala 3 Rivers formed a hand seal, and the formation pattern in front of the heavenly desire demon monarch lit up. A screen filled with formation patterns appeared immediately. It collided precisely with the black demonic chi released by the heavenly desire demon monarch. However, the black demonic chi seemed to meet its nemesis and quickly receded, while the formation remained unscathed. At the same time, Hala Three Rivers had already completed his hand seal, pointing directly at the heavenly desire demon monarch. Formation patterns above the formation lit up once again, and then a thunderbolt formed, striking towards the heavenly desire demon monarch. Seeing this, the heavenly desire demon monarch hastily dodged. Youjiu, having recovered somewhat, once again lifted his cold light longsword and advanced to kill the heavenly desire demon monarch. Seeing himself trapped, the heavenly desire demon monarch glared furiously at the instigator Hala Three Rivers, his eyes nearly shooting fire. However, with Youjiu attacking him again, the heavenly desire demon monarch couldn't afford to be careless and had to intercept him once more. Thus, with Youjiu and the aid of Hala Three Rivers controlling the formation, the heavenly desire demon monarch was repeatedly forced back. Soon, he had suffered several wounds. At this time, the three golden core cultivators who had been healing at a distance saw the few people trapping Dai Mao with the formation. Instantly energized, they forgot about their healing. Instead, they stared intently at the battle between Youjiu and Dai Mao within the formation. As time passed by, gradually, the aura of the heavenly desire demon monarch also began to wane. Now the heavenly desire demon monarch had to guard against Youjiu's attacks and also beware of Hala Three Rivers' assaults through the formation. It was bearable for a short time, but over a longer period, even as formidable as he was, he began to struggle. Having no choice, the heavenly desire demon monarch roared furiously while going all out with his attacks, hoping to slay Youjiu right there. However, although Youjiu had only recently advanced to the nascent soul stage, his combat power was quite extraordinary. Especially after drinking alcohol, his combat power significantly increased. This made the heavenly desire demon monarch lament endlessly. Seeing that he couldn't overcome Youjiu, the heavenly desire demon monarch, in his urgency, unleashed the black demonic chi explosively. And this demonic chi kept spreading, soon filling the entire formation. Hala Three Rivers, seeing this, also hurriedly controlled the entire formation, starting its operation. Instantly, all the formation patterns upon the formation lit up, twinkling with brilliant light. It was at this moment that Lin Jing suddenly discovered there was a blank space in the formation on their side, not covered by formation patterns. Lin Jing looked intently and realized that this blank space was precisely where the two formation flags hit by the demonic chi sword were located. These two flags must have been damaged. They hadn't been discovered earlier because they were not utilized until now. Now that they were needed, the damaged areas began to show. Even Hala Three Rivers noticed this situation. His face changed instantly. At first, he had only been focused on arranging the formation and hadn't noticed the attack on the formation flags. Unexpectedly, the formation patterns attached to the formation flags had been damaged. These formation flags were forged as a set, with no possibility of replacement. Very soon, the black mist paused, then dissipated, revealing the figure of the heavenly desire demon monarch inside. The heavenly desire demon monarch, with a face full of surprise, looked toward the missed spot in the formation. Obviously, this heavenly desire demon lord had also discovered the loophole in the formation. After that, the heavenly desire demon monarch directly lunged out, aiming to rush toward the gap. Upon seeing this, Youjiu hurriedly stepped forward, wanting to obstruct him. Hala Three Rivers controlled the formation even more, releasing countless lightning bolts to block. However, the heavenly desire demon monarch paid no attention. He directly gathered the black demonic chi he had condensed into 5 thick streams of black mist, 2 of which lunged straight at Youjiu. The other 3 rushed towards the weakened part of the formation that had been damaged. As for himself, he charged toward the fragile spot of the formation despite the bombardment of lightning on his head. At that moment, Lin Jing stood outside the formation. If the heavenly desire demon monarch burst out, he might encounter Lin Jing first. At this time, Lin Jing naturally couldn't just wait to be captured. he definitely had to intercept him. Therefore, Lin Jing activated power boost augmentation. In an instant, Lin Jing felt his divine sense surge, far surpassing its previous state. A 50% increase in the strength of his divine sense made it almost comparable to that of a nascent soul cultivator. After activating power boost augmentation, Lin Jing's body was also covered in a layer of golden light to welcome the upcoming battle. After all this preparation, Lin Jing then summoned his flying sword, the Ling Yin Flawless Sword. The Ling Yin Flawless Sword was forged by the artifact refiner sought after by Yan Wanfei, who merged the Flawless Sword with the remains of a sword from the true Lord of Ling Yin. Now, the Ling Yin Flawless Sword was incomparable to its previous version, and its quality had reached the level of a superior magical treasure. However, that transparent special material had not been integrated into it and was brought back by Yan Wanfei, who returned it to Lin Jing. The power of the superior magical treasure, the Ling Yin Flawless Sword, was certainly extraordinary. Before the heavenly desire demon monarch could burst out, Lin Jing had already cast Ling Yin Youjiu, concealing the flying sword. Following that, within the formation, the 3 streams of black mist repeatedly slammed into the weakened part of the formation. Boom, boom, boom. With the impact of the 3 streams of black mist, the formation shook violently, and several cracks appeared on it. Fortunately, the formation managed to block this round of attacks. However, before everyone could relax, the heavenly desire demon monarch had already charged to the edge of the formation, the area filled with cracks. Afterward, one saw a layer of black light emerge from the hands of the heavenly desire demon monarch, and he attacked directly towards the cracked area. As soon as the black light touched the edge of the formation, it immediately seeped through the cracks in the formation. As more black light spilled out, the cracks on the formation grew larger and larger. Gradually, they spread over the entire formation. Finally, after a series of crackling sounds, the entire formation could no longer hold and exploded with a bang. When the formation shattered, the heavenly desire demon monarch let out a strange laugh. I've come out. Next, none of you will escape. After that, one saw the black demonic chi around the heavenly desire demon monarch explode in an instant, becoming much stronger than when he was inside the formation. And the injuries he had sustained inside the formation began to heal rapidly at this time. Upon seeing this, Lin Jing immediately operated the 5 elements divine art and launched a stream of multicolored light, then charged towards the heavenly desire demon monarch. At the same time, the Ling Yin Flawless Sword was hidden in the dark, ready to launch a surprise attack at any moment. However, as soon as Lin Jing's multicolored light was released, the heavenly desire demon monarch dodged it like a rat encountering a cat, hurriedly avoiding it. He even disregarded his healing. Afterward, he glared at Lin Jing with rage and said, "Kid, I almost forgot about you. To avoid any accidents, I'll kill you first." Having said that, the heavenly desire demon monarch charged straight at Lin Jing. At the same time, a powerful divine sense reached Lin Jing's mind ahead of him. However, Lin Jing was currently in power boost augmentation mode, with an incredibly strong divine sense. As soon as that divine sense attempted to enter his sea of consciousness, it was immediately met with a strong counterattack from Lin Jing and was expelled. His divine sense is so strong. The heavenly desire demon monarch was surprised that his divine sense attack didn't affect Lin Jing. But he didn't care much because he had arrived in person this time. He was very confident that, even without using divine sense, he could crush Lin Jing. Seeing the heavenly desire demon monarch charging at him, Lin Jing didn't show the slightest panic. Even though the multicolored light had been avoided, it had allowed Lin Jing to realize something. That was, the heavenly desire demon monarch still feared the 5 elements divine art. At this point, Youjiu was chasing after him from behind, and all Lin Jing needed to do was to stall for a moment, allowing Youjiu to catch up once again. By then, even if the heavenly desire demon monarch wanted to escape, it would be too late. Seeing the heavenly desired demon monarch approaching, Lin Jing did the same, his body glowing with golden light as he charged towards the heavenly desired demon monarch. Lin Jing's actions shocked both Hala Three Rivers and Yan Wanfei. They knew that this time was different from the last. Last time Lin Jing charged forward, he had directly used the 5 elements divine art, detonating the restrictions that others had placed within the heavenly desire demon monarch's body. But this time, the heavenly desire demon monarch had obviously recovered, and there seemed to be nothing amiss with him. Moreover, the heavenly desire demon monarch's cultivation was now at the nascent soul stage. If Lin Jing charged forward now, he feared he would not come out on top. However, out of trust for Lin Jing, this time when Lin Jing charged forward, they did not say much, only watched carefully and prepared. They were ready to rescue Lin Jing at any moment if anything unexpected occurred. Upon seeing Lin Jing rush toward him, the heavenly desire demon monarch was initially taken aback, then his lips curled upward, revealing a cruel smile. "If you seek death, then I shall fulfill your wish," he said. Then he accelerated and charged toward Lin Jing. Seeing this, Lin Jing did not hesitate to control the Ling Yin flawless sword, striking at the heavenly desire demon monarch. The Ling Yin flawless sword, because of its unique characteristics and the enhancement from Ling Yin Youjiu, silently and swiftly thrust toward the heavenly desire demon monarch. Soon, the Ling Yin flawless sword neared the heavenly desire demon monarch. However, at that moment, the heavenly desire demon monarch suddenly reached out, and a black demonic chi extended, enveloping the Ling Yin flawless sword instantaneously. The Ling Yin flawless sword was immediately immobilized, unable to advance even a fraction further. With the Ling Yin flawless sword under control, the heavenly desired demon monarch let out a cold laugh and said, "You really thought I wouldn't know your tricks? You're far too naive." However, before the heavenly desired demon monarch could finish speaking, Lin Jing burst forward with extreme speed and had already arrived in front of the heavenly desired demon monarch. At that moment, Lin Jing's whole body shone with golden light, and in addition to this light, several traces of Wu Tsai-colored streamers wrapped around him. Moreover, the Wu Tsai streamers on Lin Jing's fist were particularly bright, covering his entire fist. Seeing Lin Jing suddenly appear, the heavenly desired demon monarch's gaze, upon noticing the 5 elements divine art wrapped around Lin Jing, flashed with a moment of panic. Then, the heavenly desired demon monarch furrowed his brows, forcefully dispelling the sense of panic, and his eyes once again filled with madness. "Go to hell!" he exclaimed. No sooner had the heavenly desired demon monarch finished speaking than dense, black demonic chi burst from his body, instantly enveloping the area and forming a demonic energy barrier. Even Lin Jing was shrouded within this demonic energy barrier. Youjiu, who was about to approach, was also repelled by this dense black demonic chi barrier. Upon seeing this, Yan Wanfei couldn't help but cry out, "Oh no, Brother Lin." Then he flew toward the scene, and Hala Three Rivers followed suit, flying over as well. Seeing this, Youjiu hastily brandished his sword, slashing at the black demonic chi. However, this black demonic chi was too dense, too terrifying. Youjiu launched several sword attacks, but the sword chi disappeared upon contact with the black demonic chi, engulfed and fading into nothing. At this time, within the demonic energy barrier, Lin Jing was enveloped in demonic chi, and the heavenly desire demon monarch said with a cruel laugh, "Still trying the same old tricks. Did you really think I would fall for the same method twice? How else could I lure you into the trap?" Lin Jing replied. After speaking, the heavenly desire demon monarch looked at Lin Jing with a hint of appreciation, then said, "You are indeed clever for knowing that the 5 elements divine art is indeed my nemesis. But that depends on who is using it. Not just anyone can pose a threat to me." Having said that, the heavenly desire demon monarch summoned another surge of black demonic chi from his body. This time the demonic chi nearly became tangible. No sooner had this demonic chi appeared than it formed into a cage, imprisoning Lin Jing within. In the moment that the demonic chi was released, Lin Jing clearly felt that familiar sensation. The 5 elements divine art within the heavenly desire demon monarch had not been dispelled, but was being suppressed all along with a substantial amount of demonic chi. Lin Jing looked at the heavenly desire demon monarch in surprise, then said, "You haven't dispelled the 5 elements divine art." The heavenly desire demon monarch spoke. "Correct. However, it's not any 5 elements divine art, but the 5 elements divine technique that only divinity transformation cultivators can cultivate. This divine technique is attached to my nascent soul. Do you think it could be so easily dispelled?" Lin Jing then said, "No wonder you've always feared the 5 elements divine art. It must be because the 5 elements divine art can detonate the 5 elements divine technique attached to your nascent soul." The heavenly desire demon monarch laughed menacingly. "Indeed, but now you no longer have a chance. Bound by my demonic chi cage, you can't perform any spells. Once you are killed, no one in this demonic monster sea will be able to restrain me." The heavenly desire demon monarch wasn't lying. Lin Jing could feel that the spiritual power within his body was completely bound, unable to be mobilized, let alone casting spells. Next, the heavenly desire demon monarch, with a malevolent gleam in his eye, said, "All right, I've said all that needs to be said. It's time for you to die." As the heavenly desire demon monarch's voice fell, the cage formed from demonic chi began to tightly envelop everything within, completely wrapping Lin Jing. Then, the demonic chi cage started to compress inward, and Lin Jing felt an extremely dangerous sensation coming. At this moment, engulfed by the cage, Lin Jing didn't hesitate. He directly summoned the system, and then silently recited in his mind, "Enter the system space." Following that, Lin Jing completely disappeared from inside the demonic chi cage. It was only after his entire being appeared inside the system space that Lin Jing truly breathed a sigh of relief. What Lin Jing had done a moment before was indeed a bit risky, even nearly costing him dearly. But it was a risk he had to take. In fact, from the moment the formation was broken, Lin Jing knew the heavenly desire demon monarch had no intention of letting him go. Because as soon as they had arrived, Lin Jing noticed there was something odd in the way the heavenly desire demon monarch looked at him. Moreover, since the formation was broken near where he was, the heavenly desire demon monarch certainly wouldn't miss the opportunity. Therefore, from that moment, Lin Jing had already started thinking of a strategy, and his strategy was simple: to use the 5 elements divine art. And he himself also possessed the system space, which wouldn't let him fall into real danger. Fortunately, all of this was still under Lin Jing's control, and nothing had gone too awry. All of this had transpired in the blink of an eye, within a very short time. From Lin Jing rushing forward, to the heavenly desire demon monarch deploying the demonic energy barrier, trapping Lin Jing inside, all happened in less than the time it took to draw a breath. After entering the system space, Lin Jing didn't linger, but directly summoned the system, initiating the fixed-point teleportation feature. With the initiation of fixed-point teleportation, Lin Jing's perspective switched back to the outside world. First and foremost was the heavenly desire demon monarch. At this time, the heavenly desire demon monarch's face was gloomy, his divine sense ceaselessly sweeping back and forth inside the demonic energy barrier. After a long while, the heavenly desire demon monarch muttered to himself with a dark face, "Impossible! How could he just vanish all of a sudden? With the restraint of the demonic chi cage, he shouldn't be able to use his spiritual power or cast any spells. There's no reason for it. But how did he escape?" The heavenly desire demon monarch was perplexed. The demonic chi cage was a spell he had mastered only after years of dedicated study. Once cast, this spell was nearly invincible, never once having failed before. Yet now, a mere early-stage golden core cultivator, had escaped from his demonic chi cage. He didn't even know how his adversary had managed to escape. And not just the demonic chi cage, but even within the demonic energy barrier itself, there was no sign of him. The heavenly desired demon monarch had swept with his divine sense several times over. He was certain that Lin Jing had indeed escaped the confines of the demonic energy barrier. This setback darkened the face of the heavenly desired demon monarch like a brooding storm. At this moment, his demonic energy barrier was still violently shaking, clearly due to the white-clad young man outside who was relentlessly attacking it. The demonic energy barrier wouldn't hold up for much longer. In truth, the situation of the heavenly desired demon monarch was not favorable. He had already sustained no light injuries from the combined attack of Youjiu and the formation. It was only after the formation broke that he thought to slay Lin Jing and then make his escape to heal in seclusion. But now, with Lin Jing's whereabouts unknown, his predicament had only worsened. To make an escape now, he had to stir the battlefield into chaos first. Thus, the heavenly desired demon monarch abandoned the demonic energy barrier completely, letting the black demonic chi automatically disperse. In an instant, countless streams of black demonic chi surged outward. In a short while, it had enveloped the entire battlefield in its dark mists. As the demonic energy barrier dissipated, Youjiu burst in. Upon entering, he anxiously searched for Lin Jing. At the same time, his divine sense ceaselessly swept through the demonic chi. The more he swept, the more panicked Youjiu became, for within the demonic chi, there was no trace of Lin Jing. He hadn't even located the heavenly desired demon lord. At that time, using the cover of the demonic chi, the heavenly desired demon monarch's body was shrouded in swirling demonic chi, concealing his presence impeccably, rendering himself essentially invisible. Taking advantage of this concealment, the heavenly desired demon monarch had originally planned to retreat. But just at that moment, an unexpected change occurred. A burst of Wu Kai radiance suddenly appeared, and just as it manifested, it was already near the heavenly desired demon monarch. Then a loud shout followed. Explode. With that shout, the Wu Kai radiance, upon nearing the heavenly desired demon monarch, exploded on the spot. This explosion was a trifling matter, but the Wu Kai radiance triggered the 5 elements divine technique within the heavenly desired demon monarch, causing the suppressed divine technique to become restless in an instant. Consequently, the heavenly desired demon monarch quickly gathered demonic chi, try to suppress the 5 elements divine technique within him. However, this action caused the surrounding black demonic chi to thin out in an instant. At that moment, Youjiu saw the immobile heavenly desired demon monarch and Lin Jing, who was escaping from nearby. Upon seeing Lin Jing, Youjiu's face lit up, and he let out a breath of relief. "Brother Lin." But Lin Jing simply said to Youjiu, "Brother Liu, quick, he's injured now, this is the moment." Upon hearing Lin Jing's words, Youjiu instantly understood why the heavenly desired demon monarch stood unmoving. He was injured. Without any hesitation, Youjiu swung out a sword chi, slashing towards the heavenly desired demon monarch. However, as the sword chi approached the heavenly desired demon monarch, he began to move. He waved his hand, releasing a mass of demonic chi to fend off the sword chi. However, even though he blocked the sword chi, the heavenly desired demon monarch could no longer suppress the turmoil of the 5 elements divine art within his body, and immediately a mouthful of fresh blood sprayed out. Afterward, he turned his head to look at Lin Jing, who was keeping his distance, his face filled with anger. Had it not been for Lin Jing, he would not have sustained such severe injuries. Despite his anger, there was one thing that he needed to clarify. Thus, the heavenly desired demon monarch spoke up, questioning Lin Jing. "How did you escape from my demonic chi cage?" This matter was related to the system space, so naturally, Lin Jing would not reveal it. Only to see Lin Jing giving a cold laugh, he said, "Want to know?" Maybe in your next life. Having said that, Lin Jing turned to Lu Youjiu and said, Brother Lu, he's now injured. Don't give him a chance to catch his breath. Take him down in one go. Upon hearing Lin Jing say this, the Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch immediately let out an enraged roar. Bastard! As he spoke, he recklessly charged towards Lin Jing. Seeing this, Lin Jing also quickly put some distance between them. At the same time, his hands didn't stop moving, trying to once again trigger the 5 elements divine technique within the Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch. Witnessing the Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch charging at Lin Jing, Lu Youjiu also hurriedly rushed towards the Demon Monarch, attempting to block him. The Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch was in the middle stage of the nascent soul, while Lin Jing only at the early stage of the Golden Core, a whole major realm and more apart. Moreover, when Lin Jing used fixed-point teleportation before to provoke the 5 elements divine technique within the Demon Monarch, he emerged very close to him. Even though Lin Jing had retreated, he hadn't gone very far. To the mid-nascent soul stage, Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch, such a distance was actually insignificant. Just when it seemed like the Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch was about to catch up with Lin Jing again, suddenly, several formation flags fell from the sky. Then a voice sounded. Formation complete. Immediately after, countless formation patterns lit up, creating a thick white fog around Lin Jing and the Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch. After only a moment, the fog around Lin Jing dispersed once again, while the fog around the Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch grew even thicker. The voice just then belonged to Hala 3 Rivers. Clearly, Hala 3 Rivers had activated another formation, separating Lin Jing from the Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch. At this moment, Lin Jing was unimpeded within the formation. In contrast, the Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch gathered many black masses of demonic qi, striving to counter the white fog. It was then that Lu Youjiu also arrived. He exchanged a glance with Hala 3 Rivers. They nodded to each other, and without saying a word, directly charged into the fog. After Lu Youjiu entered, the white fog began to disperse. Lu Youjiu went straight towards the Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch. The two immediately clashed in battle. Lin Jing also took this opportunity to step out of the formation's range, moving to Hala 3 Rivers side. It was only now that Yin Wanfei arrived, late to the scene. The moment she saw Lin Jing, Yin Wanfei began to ask with concern, Brother Lin, how are you? Are you all right? You have no idea. When I saw you enveloped by that demonic qi, I was scared to death. Lin Jing gave a slight smile and said, I'm fine. Yin Wanfei then continued, Brother Lin, how did you escape from that dangerous situation just now? The Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch had clearly trapped you. How did he let you go so easily? Lin Jing then spoke up. Let's talk about this later. Right now, the crisis from the Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch is not yet over. Yin Wanfei looked at the Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch, who was fighting with Lu Youjiu, and quickly said, All right, let's talk later. Let's take down that bastard first. Then, just like that, the 3 of them watched the 2 combatants. Lin Jing did not stand idly by, but circled around the outside of the formation, looking for an opportunity, ready to intervene at any moment. Meanwhile, Hala 3 Rivers kept controlling the formation, aiding Lu Youjiu in suppressing the Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch. The Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch's roars of rage continued without any means of escape. As time went by, the Demon Monarch's momentum grew weaker and weaker, while Lu Youjiu, who was fighting with him, seemed to be getting stronger and stronger. At that moment, a surge of demonic qi suddenly burst within the formation, forcing Lu Youjiu out. And with that, Hala 3 Rivers formation was also broken. It was then that Lin Jing clearly sensed the mass of the 5 elements divine technique within the Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch. Obviously, with this outburst, the demonic qi that the Demon Monarch had been using to suppress the 5 elements divine technique had been expended. It looked like the Heavenly Desire Demon Monarch was on the brink of collapse. After sensing the five elements divine technique, Lin Jing immediately sprang into action. This time, he had to keep the heavenly desire demon monarch here. Then, Lin Jing quickly rushed out towards the direction of the heavenly desire demon monarch. At the same time, Lin Jing's hands were constantly moving. He soon formed a cluster of five-colored auroras. When the heavenly desire demon monarch saw Lin Jing rushing towards him with the five-colored aurora in hand, a hint of fear appeared in his eyes, and he became flustered at once. This time his panic wasn't feigned. Without the suppression of demonic qi, the five elements divine art within his body could even claim his life directly. This time, he had no strength left to create any demonic qi cage. He had no choice but to wave his hand, releasing a large amount of demonic qi to block in front, trying to stop Lin Jing. However, Lin Jing was not afraid at all, directly activating his overlord divine physique, covering his body in a layer of golden light. Then he burst forward at great speed toward the heavenly desire demon monarch. By the time Lin Jing passed through the demonic qi, he was already quite close to the heavenly desire demon monarch. At this moment, the heavenly desire demon monarch was trying to gather his demonic qi, intending to suppress the five elements divine technique within his body. But it was already too late. Once Lin Jing rushed over, he found that his five elements divine art responded. It seemed that he could now control the five elements divine technique within the heavenly desire demon monarch. So, Lin Jing didn't hesitate at all. He simply uttered a word. Explode. Firstly, the clump of five-colored aurora in his hand burst open directly. Then, as if triggering a chain reaction, that mass of five elements divine technique inside the heavenly desire demon monarch also exploded violently after intense fluctuations. The heavenly desire demon monarch tried to stop it, but he had no way to do so. He could only watch helplessly as streaks of five-colored light emerged from within his own body. And gradually, they tore apart the body he had occupied, that of Dai Mao, only leaving a small figure in the middle, emanating a five-colored light and radiating golden light. This small figure, it must be the nascent soul of the heavenly desire demon monarch. At that moment, this golden, radiating small figure was enveloped by countless stripes of five-colored divine light. And those five-colored divine lights were constantly devouring the vitality of the golden small figure. The golden small figure looked extremely terrified. As he watched those five-colored divine lights entwining around him, the golden small figure exhausted all methods, but no matter what, he could not drive them away. As the five-colored divine light grew stronger, the golden small figure entwined in the middle grew weaker and weaker. Finally, he directly faded into a phantom. In the end, the nascent soul of the heavenly desire demon monarch began babbling. Five elements. When the five elements gather, the relics appear. I still have a chance. I can't die here. But no matter what, he couldn't stop the erosion of the five-colored divine light. In the end, he let out a terrified scream. No! After the scream, the golden small figure was completely annihilated, vanishing completely, leaving behind only a cluster of five-colored divine light in that spot. Lin Jing stared at the five-colored divine light, stunned for a moment. Soon, Youjiu flew over and looked at the floating five-colored divine light. The aura of the heavenly desire demon monarch had disappeared completely. Youjiu looked at Lin Jing and asked, "Is he dead?" Lin Jing nodded and said, "Yes, I triggered the explosion of the five elements divine technique left in his body by the predecessor, and he was devoured." Youjiu nodded and then said, "Just now, when he burst out with demonic qi, I felt that mass of five elements power inside his body. I knew then that this battle would still depend on you to end it." Just then, Hala Three Rivers and Yin Wanfei both flew over as well. Upon arriving, Yin Wanfei immediately asked, "The heavenly desire demon monarch, is he dead?" Since the black demonic qi had previously covered everything nearby, Yin Wanfei didn't see how the heavenly desire demon monarch had died. Lu Youjiu nodded, and then said, "The heavenly desire demon monarch is dead, killed by Brother Lin." Yin Wanfei was shocked upon hearing this, and then incredulously looked at Lin Jing. "Holy, since when did Brother Lin become so powerful?" Lin Jing spoke up, saying, "Actually, it's the same as before. I triggered the explosion of the 5 elements divine technique left in his body by the predecessor. If you think about it, I merely played a simple assisting role. But what truly destroyed the heavenly desire demon monarch was this." Lin Jing pointed ahead to the floating cluster of 5-color divine light. "This?" Yin Wanfei followed Lin Jing's pointing direction and saw the cluster of 5-color divine light. At that moment, Hala 3 Rivers looked at the cluster of 5-color divine light and said, "Brother Lin, can you control this 5-color divine light?" Lin Jing hesitated for a moment, then used the 5 elements divine art, causing the 5-color divine light to start moving with Lin Jing's intentions. This movement startled Yin Wanfei, who was observing, and she quickly took a couple of steps back. However, the 5-color divine light didn't make any other movements, but was controlled by Lin Jing, flying back and forth nearby. Moments later, Lin Jing replied, "I can indeed control this 5-color divine light." Hala 3 Rivers nodded his head. Then Lu Youjiu spoke up, saying, "Since Brother Lin can control it, Brother Lin can take it away," said Lu Youjiu. "This 5-color divine light doesn't look simple, and it should be helpful for your cultivation of the 5 elements divine art," he continued. Lin Jing nodded and tried to put away the 5-color divine light, but he encountered a problem at this moment. The 5-color divine light could not be put into the storage bag. Thus, after a brief contemplation, Lin Jing decided to absorb the 5-color divine light into his own body. Thinking this, Lin Jing immediately used the 5 elements divine art to control the 5-color divine light to drift toward him. As the 5-color divine light approached him, to avoid any accidents, Lin Jing used the 5 elements divine art to condense a 5-colored aurora that enveloped the 5-color divine light. After finishing all this, Lin Jing slowly began to integrate this mass of 5-color divine light into his body. Although Lin Jing took such precautions, when the 5-color divine light entered his body, he didn't feel any discomfort. In fact, Lin Jing even felt a familiar and comfortable sensation on top of the colorless divine light. It seemed that the 5-color divine light wouldn't harm Lin Jing. After Lin Jing absorbed the 5-color divine light, the 3 golden core cultivators who had been standing at a distance came forward. Upon their arrival, they bowed and said to Lu Youjiu and the others, "We thank the senior and fellow Taoists for saving our lives." Lu Youjiu said, "No need to be polite. We came specifically to kill Dai Mao." The 3 were stunned at first, but then one of the older men angrily said, "This demon cultivator, Dai Mao, has done all sorts of evil deeds. He deserves to be killed by everyone. He even slaughtered everyone on Nanli Island, not sparing even the common folks. If it weren't for the senior's timely intervention, it wouldn't just be Nanli Island at risk, but also our lives," he added. After saying this, the old man bowed again to Lu Youjiu and said, "We 3 will never forget the great kindness of the senior." The 2 standing behind the old man similarly bowed and said to Lu Youjiu, "Senior's great kindness, we will never forget." Lu Youjiu looked at them, his brows slightly furrowed, and then he said, "No need." However, the old man spoke up at this time, "Senior, the 3 of us have decided to follow you to the death, and we hope the senior will accept us and let us accompany you." As the old man finished speaking, the 2 behind him hurriedly added, "Yes, senior, Nanli Island has been slaughtered. We 3 have nowhere to go. We hope the senior will take us in and let us follow you." At this, not only Lu Youjiu, but Lin Jing and the others were also stunned. Was this the situation? After killing Dai Mao, people actually wanted to follow them. However, Lu Youjiu glanced coldly at them, then directly declined their request. "I only advanced to the nascent soul stage with the help of myself and some brothers. If you think that I have some powerful force backing me, then you are mistaken. I'm just a loose cultivator, acting entirely according to my own preferences and do not need followers. As for you all, you might as well give up on this idea," he finished. Then Youjiu said to Lin Jing and the others, "All right, this matter is settled. Let's go." Lin Jing and the others nodded. Then together they boarded the flying boat and left the area. At the original site, only the 3 somewhat embarrassed golden core cultivators remained. On the flying boat, Yin Wanfei asked Lu Youjiu, "Brother Jiu, why didn't you take them in just now?" Lu Youjiu glanced at Yin Wanfei and then said, "Their motives were not pure. It was quite obvious. Only a simpleton like you couldn't see through them." Yin Wanfei scratched his head and said, "Really? I really didn't notice that." Lu Youjiu pursed his lips and said, "That's why I say you're a simpleton." After speaking, Lu Youjiu paused, looked at Yin Wanfei, and said, "Nyo-san, I remember I still owe you several training sessions, right?" Yin Wanfei nodded and said, "Yes, Brother Jiu. We were delayed by the heavenly desired demon monarch before, so we never got around to the special training." Lu Youjiu nodded and said, "Good. Now that the matter with the heavenly desired demon monarch is also resolved, I will arrange your special training as soon as we get back." Upon hearing this, Yin Wanfei's eyes lit up, and he said, "Really, Brother Jiu, that's great." Lu Youjiu looked at him with a smile and said, "Of course it's true. I will definitely help you with your special training." These words should have made Yin Wanfei happy, but suddenly he felt a mysterious chill. Then Yin Wanfei turned his head, looked at the smiling Lu Youjiu, and gently reminded him, "Brother Jiu, remember what we agreed on? You can't torment me during these training sessions." Lu Youjiu then said, "Originally, I wasn't planning to torment you, but your performance this time was too disappointing. You didn't play a single role. So this time, I've decided to help you with 100 training sessions to boost your strength, to avoid such situations in the future. But don't worry if I promise not to torment you 10 times. Then it will be 10 times. Yin Wanfei's face immediately turned sour, and he then wailed, "That still means there are 90 times you will torment me." Brother Jiu, please know. Facing Yin Wanfei's wails, Lu Youjiu was unrelenting and firmly said, "There's no discussion on this matter. Prepare yourself for the coming period." Time flew by, and another 6 months had passed since the issue with the heavenly desired demon monarch was resolved, and everyone had returned to Li Yan Island. Their lives had once again settled into tranquility. During this time, Lu Youjiu had been giving Yin Wanfei special training, and Hala 3 Rivers was ceaselessly studying formations. Only Lin Jing was a bit different. In the past 6 months, besides alchemy in the system space, Lin Jing spent most of his time cultivating in the Earth Flame Spring. After such a long period of cultivation, he was finally close to mastering the 7 refinement body forging technique to perfection. If nothing unexpected happened, it should be within the next few days. Inside the Earth Flame cave at this moment, Lin Jing was soaking in the Earth Flame Spring. Feeling the scalding heat of the Earth Flame Spring, Lin Jing actually found it quite comfortable. Although he wasn't using spiritual power to protect his body, he was still as comfortable as a fish in water inside the Earth Flame Spring and didn't feel any discomfort. Just then, a series of footsteps came from outside. The footsteps were uneven, as if the person's legs were not in good shape. Lin Jing then swept out with his divine sense and couldn't help but smile. After a while, a rough, burly man limped over. Lin Jing turned his head to look at the man and laughingly said, "Yin brother, what happened today that you're limping?" The burly man who had arrived was none other than Yin Wanfei. Hearing Lin Jing's teasing, Yin Wanfei's face immediately drooped as if he had just consumed freshly picked bitter herbs. "It's all because of Lu Youjiu. He said he was going to give me special training, but it really was just an excuse to beat me up. This time he nearly ripped off my leg." Yin Wanfei pointed at his limping leg and complained. Lin Jing's mouth twitched slightly, but he remained composed and then said, "Actually, you can't really say that. Look, with the training over this period, haven't you already broken through to the mid-stage of the Golden Core? No sooner had Lin Jing finished speaking than Yin Wanfei approached the pool of the earth flame spring, getting close to Lin Jing, and said, "Speaking of which, I feel it's mostly your merit, Brother Lin. If it weren't for your elixir medicine, perhaps I wouldn't have broken through to the mid-stage of the golden core so easily." After speaking, Yin Wanfei still had a look of deep resentment, gazing at Lin Jing. "I just didn't expect that you would actually be a descendant of the Lin family from the ancient alchemy path. And you guys kept a secret from me for so long. It wasn't until now that I was told." Facing Yin Wanfei's questioning, Lin Jing chuckled and then said, "Lu brother was worried you might spill the beans, which is why he specifically wanted to keep it from you. Who would have guessed that you sometimes seem rather unreliable?" Upon hearing this, Yin Wanfei was left speechless. "I'm really hurt now. I could accept it from Lu Youjiu, but even you think I'm unreliable. Am I really unreliable? To think I've always been wholeheartedly with my brothers, yet my brothers have been playing mind games with me. Let it go. I'm tired. Might as well give up." Lin Jing was immediately at a loss for words, surprised that the casual remark he had made was so fluently used by Yin Wanfei. However, if he couldn't suss out his brother Niu San's intentions, Lin Jing wouldn't deserve to be a veterinarian. Then again, he wasn't really a veterinarian in the first place. But it didn't matter, as long as the intent was understood. Therefore, Lin Jing replied directly to Yin Wanfei. "Stop making that pitiful face. Just tell me, what do you want?" Yin Wanfei immediately put on a cheerful expression, getting close to Lin Jing. "Haha, Brother Lin really gets me." Lin Jing couldn't help but purse his lips. Then Yin Wanfei said, "Brother Lin, I actually just want an eternal youth elixir for my wife." Eternal youth elixir. Lin Jing then remembered that in his system space, he had an eternal youth fruit tree that had already matured. He just hadn't been concocting the eternal youth elixir during this time, because he had been busy with other elixirs. Now, with the crisis over, he could start collecting ingredients for the eternal youth elixir. Lin Jing then said, "Eternal youth elixir, a third-grade elixir medicine. Aside from the main ingredient, eternal youth fruit, the other ingredients are not hard to find. Don't worry, leave it to me." Yin Wanfei was overjoyed. "I knew Brother Lin would be the best to me." With that, Yin Wanfei pulled out 3 eternal youth fruits and handed them to Lin Jing. "These are 3 eternal youth fruits that I had Lu Youjiu help collect previously. If it's not enough, just say the word, and I'll go find more eternal youth fruits." Lin Jing did not reach out to take the eternal youth fruits, but instead sighed helplessly and then said, "Sigh, actually, I have eternal youth fruits on me. You really didn't have to buy them yourself." However, Yin Wanfei persistently shook his head. "How could that be okay? It's already troubling enough to have you concoct the elixir. How could I let you provide the ingredients as well? Besides, it's very hard for eternal youth fruit trees to mature on islands. So, in the demonic monster sea, eternal youth fruits are particularly expensive. Just these 3 have already cost me a small fortune in savings. I definitely can't let you provide the eternal youth fruits." Actually, if we were to talk about it, it wouldn't be troublesome for Lin Jing to ripen eternal youth fruits at the moment. Even the needed harvest points were not that many. Hearing Yin Wanfei speak in such a manner, Lin Jing even started to consider the idea. Could he perhaps ripen some eternal youth fruits and then sell them at the Seven Seas Hall? Of course, Lin Jing just had the thought and then reined it in. Although he could produce eternal youth fruits now, it wouldn't be appropriate to bring out too many. Otherwise, it can't be explained. Thus, Lin Jing spoke to Yin Wanfei again. "Brother Yin, what do you think of this? You don't have to collect eternal youth fruits recently. When I was in Naming Domain, I had the good fortune to come across a mature eternal youth fruit tree and harvested a few eternal youth fruits. This time, if there aren't enough eternal youth fruits, I'll take out the ones I got myself and use them first. As for you, keep an eye out for those high-grade spiritual plant seeds for me. I'd like to try planting some." After hearing this, Yin Wanfei pondered for a moment and then said, "All right, let's do that. And if there are high-grade spiritual plant seeds, I'll buy them for you." Lin Jing waved his hand and said, "No need, just let me know. After all, those seeds are quite expensive." Yin Wanfei frowned immediately. How can that be? You need to understand. Before Yin Wanfei could finish, Lin Jing interrupted him. All right, let's talk about this later. I just remembered something. Yin Wanfei, who had been ready to argue, immediately backed down, and then with a puzzled face asked, Brother Lin, what is it? Lin Jing then said with a smile, I remember. Aren't you quite afraid of your lady back home? Why the sudden thought of giving her a gift? Yin Wanfei's face suddenly flushed red. Then he said in a low voice, Actually, afraid indeed I am a bit. But the marriage has already been arranged by the family. There's no running away from it. And the gifts that should be given must still be given. And this flawless eternal youth elixir, she mentioned a long time ago, it's just that this flawless eternal youth elixir is especially precious, and I've never been able to afford it. Until I met you, Brother Lin. Now there's an opportunity, so I made this request to you, hoping you wouldn't mind. Lin Jing then said with a smile, Don't worry, this time I'll help you concoct a flawless eternal youth elixir. When Yin Wanfei heard this, he was overjoyed. Thank you, Brother Lin. Lin Jing then said with a smile, Why be so formal with me? Afterward, the two chatted for a little while longer, then prepared to enter the deeper parts of the earth flame spring to begin cultivation. The way the two were cultivating now was different from before. Since they had become accustomed to the temperature of the earth flame spring, both Lin Jing and Yin Wanfei needed to submerge into its depths to practice their body refining techniques. The deeper into the earth flame spring, the higher the temperature, and only at very high temperatures could the best cultivation effect be achieved. Just as Lin Jing was preparing to submerge, Yin Wanfei suddenly spoke up. Brother Lin, I remember you saying last time that your 7 refinement body forging technique was close to the 7th refinement's completion, right? When the 7th refinement is complete, won't your body return to normal? Lin Jing nodded and said, That's right. If it's soon, then today, or within these next few days, I should be able to fully cultivate the 7 refinement body forging technique. Yin Wanfei nodded and then said, Good, Brother Lin, keep it up. I'm going down first. Today, I have to break through the depth of 50 meters. After speaking, Yin Wanfei submerged into the spring. And after Yin Wanfei went in, Lin Jing followed suit, diving into the deeper parts of the earth flame spring. As Lin Jing continued to dive, the temperature around him grew hotter and hotter. However, the current temperature was completely within Lin Jing's tolerance. Not only was he not using spiritual power to protect his body, but he also didn't activate the golden light of the Overlord Divine Physique. 10 meters, 20 meters, 30 meters. Like this, Lin Jing kept diving deeper and deeper. Finally, at around 40 meters, Lin Jing saw Yin Wanfei. After greeting Yin Wanfei, Lin Jing continued to dive towards the lower parts of the flame spring. Soon, Lin Jing exceeded 50 meters. Past the depth of 50 meters, there is actually a threshold. The temperature below 50 meters is significantly higher than the temperature above it. Even Lin Jing had to activate his Overlord Divine Physique, letting the layer of golden light cover his entire body. Previously, Yin Wanfei was extremely shocked when he saw Lin Jing's Overlord Divine Physique. Especially upon seeing the special effects of the Overlord Divine Physique, he was incredibly envious. However, regretfully, as a demon cultivator, Yin Wanfei simply could not cultivate the Overlord Divine Physique, but could only practice body refining techniques unique to demon cultivators. This made Yin Wanfei quite frustrated for a while. Afterward, Lin Jing continued to dive. 60 meters, 70 meters, 80 meters. This time, it took Lin Jing a bit longer to reach 80 meters. Then, Lin Jing stopped for a while at the 80th meter to adapt a little. After that, Lin Jing continued his descent. 85 meters, 90 meters, 95 meters. Ultimately, Lin Jing even directly dived to the 99th meter before stopping. Any further down, and he would have exceeded 100 meters. However, that was not a barrier Lin Jing could break through at the moment. Looking down, Lin Jing could even distinctly see the demarcation line between 99 meters and 100 meters. Below him, it was exceedingly red, like magma, and emanated a terrifying heat. Then, Lin Jing sat down cross-legged against the stone wall of the flame spring. He closed his eyes and began to cultivate in this spot.